The Power of Agile, hosted by Nagaro.
Welcome to The Power of Agile, the podcast where we delve into specialized roles shaping the future of work. I'm your host, Gurpreet Badesh, and today's episode is Tech Meets Agile, the code and coach approach, in which we will explore and navigate the delicate balance required for this role, whilst understanding how this unique role bridges the gap between technical expertise and agile methodologies. We'll also discover how technical agile coaches measure their impact, adapt strategies across industries, and empower clients for sustainable agility. And walking us through this today, we have Roland Germ, our very own technical agile coach here at Nagaro. So welcome, Roland.
Welcome. Thank you very much for this invite, and I'm really looking forward for our talk today.
I'm certainly excited to be discussing it with you. And as usual, before we get into the main topic, I've got a few random questions, if that's okay for you.
Oh, of course.
Lovely. So, firstly, when was the last time you laughed at the top of your lungs?
I'm already laughing now. So I don't remember, because I think I'm quite a lucky guy, a happy guy. I'm laughing a lot of my time. So
you have a lot of fun at Nagaro?
I have a lot of fun at Nagaro and also in my spare time.
That's what we like to hear. And secondly, what is your favorite country?
So I like to travel to the north.
Mm-hmm.
To the north, this means the Netherlands, or even more in the north, Denmark, Norway. This year I'm going to visit Norway.
Oh, lovely.
With a ship. So I'm really looking forward to this. And I also would like to do it in the wintertime with skis, hiking and ski and something like that.
So you're very outdoorsy. You like the nature.
The adventure.
Yeah.
Yes. And I don't like it too hot. So
Okay.
So therefore I really prefer the north currently.
Sounds like you might like the UK as well.
Oh yeah, might be Scotland.
Yeah, if you like the rain. If you like the rain as well. Okay, that's great. And to kick things off then, what sparked your journey into the world of technical agile coaching, and what excites you most about this role?
So thinking back to my past, I think the first event where I was delving into the topic of agile coach, not coaching, but the topics of XP programming, extreme programming, and also clean code was I was attending a global day of code retreat here in Vienna, which is a whole day workshop where we just practice all these things, how we should code in a better style. And this...
When you say better style, do you mean like more writing code more efficiently?
It's more readable,
okay.
More understandable, more maintainable, better quality. I was looking for a style or practices which help us to write better software, to write the code better instead of just only building the right product.
I see.
And this inspired me a lot this day, working with colleagues or friends. In the meantime, seeing which practices are going to foster these capabilities and deliver it, practicing these techniques and tools was a great experience for me. And then I started to change how to develop code, and my mindset of a developer changed. And this was the starting point for me for delving into the topic of technical agility.
So that was the pivotal moment here.
Yeah.
And for our listeners who may not be familiar, can you explain what a technical agile coach is, and more importantly, how this differs to the role of a traditional agile coach?
So thinking about agile coaching, there's a model called which distinguishes different stances, aspects of coaching. For example, training, mentoring, facilitation, coaching. And then there's the agility, as a whole, but your Agile mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And then also there is a topic or an aspect which is called mastery.
Okay.
And in this mastery stance, we have different areas, and one of them is technical mastery, and we have business mastery and transformation mastery. So there are coaches which are maybe more experts on transforming companies or teams.
Mm-hmm.
There are coaches which are more have their mastery in the business aspects or in methodologies, for example.
So it's an area of specialism, right?
It's an area of special, and mine is the technical part. Since I'm a developer since 1980, whatever. So don't get into details, but more than 40 years in the meantime.
Okay.
I was always a developer, so and on the other side, I was infected by this idea of collaboration and adapting to change. And in my opinion, it's very important that developers they have a high level of quality because this enhances our agility.
Mm-hmm. And also because you probably had your fair share of challenges through the projects that you worked on in your earlier career. So you were very all for promoting collaboration.
Right, right, exactly. And so given my background and the idea of agility, but it seems to be a perfect match, and it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually the situation, it is.
Yeah. And what would you say your key responsibilities are as a technical agile coach then? So when you work with clients, what are those responsibilities, and how would you say those responsibilities contribute to success?
Yeah. So there is something which is called the Agile principles, and the ninth Agile principle is about continuous attention to technical excellence and good design enhances agility. So I strongly believe that what I bring to the companies and to my company, my responsibility is making them understand that quality drives productivity. Without quality, you will lose your productivity will decrease. We call this technical debt.
Okay.
The less the quality, the more you invest time in stuff around, in other tasks, in other activities. I can give you an example. Example with baking a cake, right?
Yeah.
So you are going to bake a cake. I give you a simple picture of a cake, and you're going to look for it. You Google for it, a receipt in the internet, and you find the ingredients and also the duration you will need to bake this cake. But this depends on your context. Given a kitchen which is messy, you need to clean it up.
Right.
Where you don't find the flavor, where maybe you also need to clean the oven up front. If you take this time into account, this is not taken into account in the receipt, right?
True.
And the same is true for developing code. If my environment is somehow messy, if my pipeline, my infrastructure, if everything which hinders me to code and develop, implement something effectively, this takes time and will increase the duration you need to implement something. And technical agility and technical excellence is for me that developer recognize what can we do to avoid these patterns.
Interesting.
How should we
almost like foresee?
How should my code look like, for example, so that it is maintainable, it becomes enhanceable, changeable for the future, proven, without mess, because most of the time developers are reading code. They're not changing code.
True.
Most of the time we need to read code. If this code is horrible to understand, I need a lot of time to understand where to place my new functionality. Well, this is something like a messy kitchen. Or the infrastructure. You want to deploy the code to the customer. If this needs more time, the longer your lead time will be.
Right. So the message that I'm getting is to start with the end in mind.
Yes. Yes. There's a coach which I really like to mention. Yeah, Emily Besh, and she said in a talk, technical decisions should not be slowed down by poor quality or lack of infrastructure and capabilities. Okay. So as a coach, I see my work, my job is, and my responsibility is to upskill developers and an organization to take this into account and to remove these impediments.
It sounds very interesting. I particularly like the example that you gave around baking the cake. And so now I'm wondering, based on your experience, how would you balance the technical coaching side with Agile methodologies and frameworks? Are there any specific aspects which you think require more emphasis in client engagements?
I believe that the Agile coaching aspect is more looking on let's say, it's a more holistic view. And it's more looking at building the right thing. It maximizes the product value. We are looking to maximize the product value. Technical coaching, technical agility, is the art of maximizing the excellence, which is building the thing right.
Okay, so the two go hand in hand.
They go hand in hand, and of course there's also an overlap, but we need both in conjunction. So here we strive for technical excellence, and on the other side we're also going to build it fast.
Okay.
Which is more maybe the DevOps aspect, right?
Yeah.
The desktop view, and all these views need to go hand in hand.
For the purpose of our listeners then, could you walk us through what a typical client engagement looks like and assume that it's from the initial assessment through to the conclusion?
So that some typical, I think, situations. One of the typical situations is clients have they get aware of the effect of their missing technical excellence. Very often they start also thinking about the quality as a whole, missing quality. So the quality is going to hinder us to develop code quickly, the bad quality.
Okay.
And then they think about which practices can helping us to improve this situation, to heal this pain somehow, right?
But it starts with identifying the pain, right?
It starts with identifying and awareness about the pain. Otherwise it won't happen. So usually, for example, customers come to us and they say, well, we need months to deliver new software to our customers. And then we look into their software development process, and then usually, for example, unit testing is completely missing.
Right.
Test automation is just from the UI perspective or end-to-end perspective, and needs a lot of time. Their testing cycles are weeks instead of days or hours. I would expect hours in the automation.
Yeah.
Or minutes even. Yeah.
Right.
And then we start asking, so then we make a root cause analysis somehow. What are the reasons for that? And there could be a lot of reasons, completely different reasons. So we define usually a hypothesis.
Okay.
So I call
it's very scientific.
Yes, it's hypothesis-driven development. Since coaching cannot be, the problem is of coaching, how do you measure the results of coaching?
Yeah.
So the idea is start with a hypothesis. And so we say, well, we believe that this capability, for example, the capability of unit testing practice, will result in faster software delivery cycles.
Yeah.
Right? And we will know this if instead of, let's say, a week of test automation, we just need hours.
Okay. So then you put a concrete number behind it.
Yeah. We set up real numbers. So this is our hypothesis, and then we define experiments depending on the context. For example, I have interviews with some developers, and then we see, are they skilled enough with their unit testing tools?
So, yeah.
Or what else is missing? Is it the pipeline? Or what else? Yeah. So it's going to be a root cause analysis, and depending on the answers and the results, we are setting up actions and I facilitate usually then sessions, workshops with them together.
It's a great point that you mentioned as well. Just by setting that hypothesis, it means that you actually, either prove it or disprove it. And against that, you've actually got measurable impact.
Right.
Like you said earlier, the measurable impact of technical agile coaching is difficult to measure.
Exactly. And it's always resulting in some kind of behavior change. So how do we measure behavior? And we need to understand that on one side, we want to change behavior, which is some kind of an outcome. And it just can be measured by output.
Yeah.
And we should not use output to motivate people.
Correct.
Right? Because then they will optimize for this output only.
And once they reach that,
they stop doing it or faking it.
Yeah.
For example, unit testing coverage, right? So you have just a goal of a high unit test coverage, which does not imply that you have good unit tests in place or any useful unit tests, or it's going to improve your code quality. It doesn't. It just gives you the answer that you have some or enough, maybe. Right?
Yeah, it's like a false positive.
It's a false positive. Unit test coverage is a good indicator if it's missing, a good negative indicator, right? If it's not there, then there's something wrong. If it's high, it does not imply that everything is good.
Okay, so you have to dig deeper. And on that note, actually, I'm wondering, do you tend to experience that each client is very different, or do you tend to find that there are some common issues that a lot of them share with each other?
I mean, what I see is a lot of my clients have similar problems, completely independent of their business, and they are all on the code mastery. They're all the same. So unit testing, it's refactoring skills, it's clean code, good design. Or this is one package for me, right? And usually I have a complete facilitation workshop format over months to introduce and look into the details of all of these aspects. Depending on my customer, we decide where we do more or less.
So do you tend to also look into, for example, if you have poor coding standards, let's say?
Yes.
Do you have a look to see if high staff turnover could potentially be linked with it? How in detail do you tend to go with this stuff?
This could be it could be a possibility. This is something which I see is not happening that often. Most of my customers have coding standards, right? Okay. And they're also checking it. They have a lot of tools. What they sometimes might do is ignore them, the output of the tools, right? But then it's more often, quality is, I think, in the meantime, more a behavior aspect and not just something we measure in one number.
100%. You have to live and breathe it.
Right.
There's got to be that consistency across the board and coherency in the team.
Yeah, and that's about the team. Exactly. Yeah. I have discussion with developers right now in my current client project where they tell me, well, this is not my task. And I tell them, well, if it's not your task, it was about the clearance and correctness of requirements. Yeah. So I then told them, so if this is not your task, and if there would be a possibility that you give feedback much earlier. And he told me, I don't want to do that. And I told him, well, we discussed about that, and then this means anyway the problem will pop up somewhere. So either it pops up at your activity or the tester's activity. If it's the tester's activity, he will bring it back to you. Then you need to dig into it, and then you need to decide the requirement as a defect is wrong or something to clarify. So is it better for you to clarify it, let's say at the beginning, in collaboration, or waiting for it and then being angry about that I got a defect which I'm not responsible for?
It's a good point, and it leads me on to my next question, actually, which I was going to ask. What are some of the common challenges that you face with teams? So you've mentioned this challenge now, right? How would you address that?
So there are many different challenges. One of these challenges is, well, I believe my experience tells me that's interesting, that during my facilitation and workshops, people I'm just planting some kind of seed. Yeah. And sometimes you meet somebody years later, and then they tell you, well, during your workshops, I disagreed to that what you said, and I couldn't understand it.
Yeah.
Right? But now I'm completely TDD affected. And I say, wow, what a wonder. Yeah. And so I think it's some kind of resilience and patience. And one of the ideas how I teach or facilitate workshops is that we are going to practice together. So deliberating, practicing, repeating stuff, these exercises. Not too much theory. I'm using a schema called from Training from the Back of the Room. Maybe you know that. It's called the 4 C's.
Yeah,
four phases.
Yeah.
Right? In a short time, usually in about an hour or 2 hours. Yeah? So I connect my participants, so they have to bring them in. What do I know about the topic?
Okay.
Then they get some theory from my side. Yeah. Then we practice. And then we review. So we have a short retro.
Okay.
Yeah. And applying this process of learning is something which changes more the mind. It's not this kind of training where you just get theory from the front. So therefore it's called training from the back of the room.
I like the concept, I have to say. The fact that you ask somebody beforehand what's their understanding, what do they know, and then you proceed to give them a little bit of theory, but then you have the practical element as well, and then you have the whole retrospective.
Right.
Yeah.
And the first step of connecting also helps me to understand what is their skill level. What do they know already about? Or is there something which I can address in more depth?
The feeling I get is that it's very tailor-made.
Right.
Yeah, to an individual, let's say.
And this helps a lot, I think so. So I'm not convincing. Of course, I have my rules, right? Or what I believe that's right. And so I don't discuss this.
Okay.
But if they have another opinion, it's fine for me, because I believe they change their opinion anyway.
You have full confidence. Do you have a specific example that you could share about a challenge that you faced with a team, for example?
A challenge that I'm facing, so many challenges. Yeah, maybe there are many. I think what's another aspect which is quite important is that I'm not too much scared about their code. So I explain it in more detail. There was a challenge. They told me, well, our code is not, you can't refactor it. It's not possible to do anything.
Okay.
And you need to know, right? Of course, I have seen a lot of different business and domains, but I don't know all the domains still, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not scared to sit together with them. They show me their code. I've seen it for the first time, and then I start just refactoring, like a robot. Yeah, somehow it's not like a robot. Of course, I'm still thinking, but they always impressed. That it's possible just by some small steps to improve already something which he doesn't know about.
I think what makes it even more impressive is that they see you as a coach. So the fact that you can sit down and then start to refactor that code, it means you're able to build a relationship with them, but
right.
And build a certain level of trust, but on a different level.
Exactly. And then you build this level of trust, and then they accept me as a trusted advisor or as an expert at this moment.
And that's exactly.
And then they also accept other opinions from my side, which they disagree until now, right?
They're more open and receptive towards it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And this is also often the starting point where we have just a first session maybe, right? Where I introduce myself and we have a look together at some parts of them. And usually if you ask them, where can I help you? I always had the situation, they give you the most messy code they ever got, right?
Of course
the most complicated and complex stuff.
It's the ultimate test.
Yeah. So challenge him a little bit.
Yeah. And you just think to yourself, challenge accepted.
Yes, I like it. I love it. Oh my God, he loves it.
So you've spoken more to like, okay, so this example that you provided, right? It's a client who clearly has a lot of code. I'm just wondering, how would you adapt that coding approach when you're dealing with clients from different technical backgrounds? So in this case, if you had somebody, a client who wasn't so tech savvy, let's say, how would you adapt your coding approach?
I believe that there are some rules or some techniques and practices which you can apply in any code base, independent of technology and technique, right? So my facilitation, I do it for C# developers, for Java developers, for TypeScript developers, for JavaScript developers, and maybe next time also for PHP. I don't care, because there are some patterns which I can, due to my experience, I recognize and which I can change, and they will help them to improve their daily work.
Okay.
Even though it seems that it's the same or it's so different, but there are some patterns which you can apply to any of them.
It's like they're basic standard principles
right.
which should be applied across organizations.
And then there are some specifics, of course, also, especially in the area of different programming language, which helps us to shortcut in a specific way. They differ, of course, but they also tend to strike in the same directions, in my opinion, in the meantime, right? So there are concepts which are quite common. Yeah. Sometimes there are frameworks which are very specific, but in this case, I'm going to prepare myself for that, and that's also fine. I had a situation where we had a TypeScript RxJS workshop for TypeScript developers, and they didn't know the concept in that detail as I learned it in 2 days.
Okay. Yeah.
I think my capability is the way of structuring the information into these 4 steps so that anybody can easily learn and apply it afterwards.
Irrespective of background,
right,
etc.
And that's also what I like on my job. I think this is what I learned in the last years by myself. I've changed. Yeah, I think I'm a good somehow teacher. Yeah, I can explain things quite well.
And I think you enjoy helping people.
Right.
Is the impression I get.
I do.
With that in mind, we've spoken about the different strategies that you use. We've also spoken about how you identify the pain points with clients, for example. Which strategies do you tend to use to leave a client feeling empowered? So after your coaching period ends, are there any techniques or strategies that you would use to ensure that they have confidence, let's say, or feel empowered to keep going with what's been put in place?
I mean, either the vehicle is already running by its own, and usually everybody in the team and also in the management is going to recognize that. That's one way. And then,
so that holds them accountable.
Right. And my job is not to control them forever or never. Yeah. My job is that I'm going to empower them in a way that they take the control and the responsibility by their own. Yeah. One way to achieve this is I have a client currently where I usually have my training or my facilitation sessions for every new developer. So they are working for the client for 1 year.
Okay.
And then they get my facilitation. And then we look into all the practices and techniques they need. So they have the same level, the same starting level. And this is an interesting approach for me still, and I really like this client a lot, because they understand the necessity of this technical excellence, right? Reaching this standard of technical excellence,
and they strive towards
and on the other side, they also recognized, well, we don't have the capacity to teach them everything by our own.
Right.
So if you hire 10 to 15 people per year, who is going to teach them? Who is going to upskill them in your company? Either you are going to hire somebody else the whole time,
right,
who is taking care of technical agility in your organization, or you have some external partner. And in this case, it's me.
Yeah, and what better way, because you've been there from the very beginning.
Correct.
And it's almost like your message is more likely to remain consistent over the years, because this is something that's clearly close to heart for you. And so you make sure that it's so embedded in the company's DNA and core values that they continue with it irrespective of the new joiners.
Exactly.
I think that's a great strategy.
Yes, and that's a really great, that's also it makes me happy that somebody recognizes and values that work in that way. Yeah.
Certainly. And my final question to you then, right? It's the hot topic, the AI topic, right? So with all of the advancements that we have in technology, right? With the rise of AI, how do you see the role of technical agile coaches evolving in the coming years?
My opinion is that these capabilities I'm teaching, which are needed in my opinion, are still necessary in the sense of the AI is going to support us. Yeah. So I can give an example. So let's think about test-driven development. Test-driven development means you're going to implement a test first, and then you implement some code. And this in a very iterative and incremental way. Just one test case, following code, another test case, following code. We call this red-green refactor cycle.
Okay.
Given that, I could use my AI to generate me the code for exactly this one test. Or even my AI, if I'm good at prompt engineering, give the AI more context. But then I will see, well, this AI has generated me more code, so I can think about which tests are still missing. And then I use this code, and I'm going to prove it by my own tests. So I still write my tests first, generate some parts of it with an AI, and then I still can prove it. I never currently, so what I think is anything which is going to be generated currently by AIs needs somehow proven by an expert, which means just by reading or understanding,
right?
Or with practices like TDD, so it's in an automated way, which then gives us the possibility to pair maybe with an AI. I'm going to write some tests. I'm going to drive which requirement is going to be implemented next.
Okay.
And parts of these requirements, I'm going to let the AI generate. And I prove it. And I'm the one who validates it.
So you are effectively streamlining it by deciding to use AI for potentially generating the code.
Right.
But when it comes to proving, testing, etc., this is something that only you will do.
Right.
Okay.
There would also be the other way around. So I'm going to let the AI generate the test and I'm going to implement it. But I would never accept that the AI is going to do both.
That's a bit too much trust, right?
Right. Yeah. Without proving it and without validating it. You need to validate it somehow.
Yeah, definitely. We can't put everything in the hands of AI.
And the third aspect maybe is the code which I currently see, which is generated by AI, is not like the code, what I would call clean code, understandable and maintainable code. So the question is for the future, are we going to throw this code every time away and regenerate it with an AI? Or shall we generate it like a template, improve it by our own, and then maintain it manually? So this process, I think, is still not clear.
Okay.
And I'm still listening to a lot of talks of experts, and most of them are still the opinion now, especially now the opinion, so AI is great, it's marvelous, it's just wow, But if you look into the details and validate the details, you will see refactoring is such a complex capability, and most of the AIs are currently not refactoring very well because they need to consider so many aspects, and the same is true for a huge amount of codes. So maybe this might be a change.
But it's almost like it's in the fine-tuning process.
Right.
Okay. Roland, this has been an incredibly insightful conversation. We've delved into so much today and it's been an absolute pleasure. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much for being here too.
Great stuff. And before you leave, let's leave our audience with some key takeaways and just do a quick recap of what we discussed today.
So as I mentioned, I think technical agility is about building the product right. And I think this is a skill, the technical excellence and the capabilities which is necessary also in the ages of AI, independent of your technology. So if there are mechanisms which hinder you to deploy, deliver, implement software effectively and fast, look at your technical excellence, look at these capabilities, and maybe you invite me for coaching you to skill up, upskill your teams, and to change their mindset, to look at these techniques and tools.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And just one point from my side as well, what really stood out today was you mentioned these Agile principles and how important they are irrespective of somebody's technological background. And I think what really stood out to me is that, if everybody has this baseline understanding, there's a lot you can achieve, right? It's not necessarily at what level you're at. So this was a key takeaway that I found really interesting. And thank you once again, Roland, for joining us today. And to our audience, we hope you found this episode both informative and inspiring. If you'd like to continue the conversation, or if you have any questions, Roland is open to connecting with you directly. So Roland, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
So I would be happy to connect with you. You can connect me, you will find me on LinkedIn. Just look for my name, Roland Germ. Or otherwise send me an email at my Nagaro address, either at my practice, which is aqt@nagaro.com, or roland.germ@nagaro.com. And I'm looking forward for exploring your topics, and whatever way I can help you.
Fantastic. And don't forget to subscribe, share, and stay tuned for more episodes where we continue to explore the power of Agile. Until next time, keep coding, keep coaching, and keep striving for project success.